Saturday was an incredible day of upsets in college football. Michigan, one of several teams to fall from to the unbeaten, losing at Iowa on a last-second field goal, 14-13 the final score. Today, the Wolverines look to bounce back. Michigan very much alive for a Big Ten championship and a college football playoff spot as the Wolverines welcome Indiana to the Big House. If Michigan wins today and beats Ohio State Columbus, Michigan is in the Big Ten title game. The Buckeyes surviving a scare earlier today in East Lansing. And hi, everybody. Alongside Greg McElroy, I'm Dave Pasch. Tom Luganbill will join us in a bit. Greg, we talked with several Michigan players and coaches this week, and it's as if last week didn't happen. They're very positive, very upbeat. You think because they stayed at number 3 in the college football playoff rankings, that's a big reason why. But it's unlikely they'll have their starting quarterback for this game.
Wilton Speight is officially listed as questionable. Talking to everybody, they're taking it minute to minute, hour to hour. Last week in the game against Iowa, he took several hits, a few that looked a little bit awkward. He did participate in warm-ups a little earlier, but we're not really sure that he's going to be participating in this football game. However, good news for the Michigan fans. Their backup quarterback, John O'Korn, has started 16 games as a college football player. However, none here in the Big House and none wearing the maize and blue. He's a veteran player that had a great 2013, not so good 2014, ended up here in Ann Arbor. And Tom, he has to play well today to keep Michigan in the playoff race.
Well, he certainly does, Greg, and he doesn't have to wear an S on his chest, but there are 3 things that I want John O'Korn to do today for Michigan to win. Number 1, don't force throws. Take what the defense gives you, play within the confines of the scheme, trust your teammates, trust the play call. Number 2, avoid negative plays. Those aren't just interceptions. Those are plays that result in negative yardage, maybe a mesh point where the ball goes on the ground, or you take a sack and now you get behind the chains. And number 3, value field position. This one's big because we've got sustained winds, gusts, and the snow is expected to kick up here pretty shortly.
All right, Tom, and there's Wilton Speight. As we expected, not going today. John O'Korn likely to start. Although in talking for about a half an hour with Jim Harbaugh yesterday, we still know as much as you watching on television about the quarterback situation. He would not reveal anything other than to say he's now minute to minute. And in watching him warm up, because again the report was a broken collarbone, maybe it's something that Speight could come back from next week and play against Ohio State.
He threw the ball effectively in warm-ups. He just didn't move around very much. So it'll be something to watch past today and something to keep an eye on as they obviously head into the game against Ohio State.
It has started snowing again. It's been off and on for the last couple of hours. Jabril Peppers is deep for Michigan. It is senior day. They have 43 seniors. Peppers is not one of them, but it's his 3rd year and might be his final game here at the Big House. And the wind gets a hold of the football. It is a touchback. And so Michigan will start in the 25. And here comes John O'Korn. He's from Fort Lauderdale. He is a senior. And as Greg pointed out in the open, he started 16 games at Houston before losing his job to Greg Ward. And he threw 28 touchdown passes, leading all freshmen in FBS back in 2013. Davion Smith is the deep back on 1st down from the Michigan 25-yard line. And it'll be Smith with running room. And he gets about 8 yards to the 33-yard line. He's played in 9 games, Greg, this year. There are his numbers. He's thrown 18 passes.
He's very accurate with the football. Better athlete than people would probably think. This competition with Wilton Speight came down to the wire. It was a photo finish. So there is not a big drop-off from the starter to the backup for Michigan.
They'll run it again here on 2nd and 2. And Smith able to get the 1st down behind that veteran offensive line. They have 3 grad students up front, along with a true freshman at left guard in Ben Bredesen and a junior at center, Mason Cole, who's a 1st-year starter.
Very physical up front. That's the identity of this football team. In the trenches, tough and physical.
True freshman Chris Evans is in it running back. They'll rotate 4 or 5 guys at that tailback spot. From the 36-yard line, here's Evans. Past the 40, first down and more. Finally dropped after he got the first down at the 46. Let's take a look at our impact players. Brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
Jabril Peppers needs no introduction. He plays it all. Jake Butt, outstanding tight end. On defense for Indiana, Marcelino Ball, a true freshman, and Tigre Scales. Both of those guys have been a big reason why Indiana defensively is significantly improved from last year.
Karan Higdon, the 4th tailback here on the first series to get a touch. And Higdon with a beautiful cut that time. Brought down at the 37-yard line by Tony Fields. It's a 5-yard pickup.
Hey guys, as you see the wind now, it's really starting to swirl. See the flags at the top of the stadium. Snow's coming down a little bit more, and that's why it's so important that Michigan's gotten off to this good start with the run game early, get in those 2nd and 3rd in manageable short situations, because when that ball goes in the air, it's going to be more and more difficult to control where it ends up.
And you got a first-time starter, at least at Michigan, the quarterback. And not much there for Ty Isaac. That was well defended by Chris Covington. It's going to bring up 3rd down here and about 4 for Michigan.
Really the first test now for John O'Korn. Michigan's been outstanding when it comes to 3rd down this year. Obviously, you can run it or pass it. You could think, obviously, too, since you're on the cusp of field goal range, this could be 4-down territory for the Wolverines.
And they're going to go empty here with O'Korn under center. Jim Harbaugh told us they will run their offense as normal with O'Korn at quarterback. O'Korn out of a short set, and the pass way off the mark. He had Darboh wide open as Fields was giving him quite a cushion. That pass was bad. 4th down.
It was all because of the pressure up front. O'Korn trying to get a nice easy slant, but he can't follow through, in large part due to the pressure by Willis defensively. Good job by Indiana's defense making the quarterback uncomfortable.
So Kenny Allen, who's the field goal kicker and the punter, will boot it deep. Mitchell Page is back at the Indiana 7-yard line. And you see that ball get hung up in the air, and then Page juggled it but was able to pull it in at the 14-yard line. So Tom mentioned the wind. You could clearly see it play a role in that punt. So Indiana takes the field offensively, number 2 in the Big Ten in passing and number 3 in the conference in total offense. Their quarterback is Richard Lego, is a big dude, 6'6", 237, among the Big Ten leaders in passing. Last week he threw for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game against Penn State where Indiana led in the 4th quarter before falling by a score of 45-31. Divine Redding, a 1,000-yard rusher last year, is over 900 yards this year. Gets the call and goes nowhere. Tackled for a loss by Ben Gideon, the Michigan middle linebacker and leading tackler.
Richard Lego, first thing that jumps out when you put him on tape is his size. He is enormous. Looks like a defensive end. He has great command of this up-tempo spread attack that they're trying to run at Indiana.
Lego going to throw here and finds Nick Westbrook, and he will not get to the first down marker as Channing Stribling and DeMonte Thomas held him up, but it's a gain of 9. 3rd and 1 coming up.
Good accurate pass there from Lego, getting him back into a 3rd and manageable 1, but against Michigan, no 3rd down is manageable. They are outstanding when it comes to this critical down and distance.
Lego is off the field right now. They have a wildcat set up, and they're going to hand it off to Patrick, a wide receiver. And he got the first down. Cammy on Patrick, picking it up. It was Tyler Natee, a true freshman, 270-pound running back that took the direct snap. After an 11-yard pickup on 2nd down, they get 2 there on 3rd and 1.
270 for Natee. He might be pushing a little bit more than that. He's a big boy. He's been effective in the Wildcat.
This is just a direct snap to Patrick here. And he gets about 2 or 3 yards to the 28-yard line.
That's what they do. They love this Wildcat. They try to get it with their backup quarterback, Xander Diamant. Nate has been the guy that has mostly been taking the snaps and now trying to get Camion Patrick involved a little bit in the quarterback run game.
As you said, it's hard to convert on third down. It's hard to even move the ball at first and second down against this Michigan defense. #1 in scoring defense, #1 in total defense. Lego in trouble, and the pass over the head of the intended receiver, Divine Redding. As Michigan got pressured, Taco Charlton, his 5 sacks in the year, was in the backfield. 3rd and 7.
Boy, Greg, that was a dangerous throw. I think if Jabril Peppers for Michigan there would have looked back, he would have picked that football off and been running into the end zone. Really dangerous throw in your own territory there for the Indiana quarterback.
And Lego's got to understand Michigan in this down and distance, they're going to bring the heat, try to make him uncomfortable.
13 interceptions for Lego this year. Lego stepping up and getting sacked. It was Chase Winovich who was there for the Wolverines to force a Hoosier punt.
Not much you can do if you're a quarterback here. Just pressure all over the place. Unblocked defenders. Lego is dropped by Winovich, who had a sack last week as well. Does a good job getting after the passer.
34th sack of the season for Michigan. Fair catch made by Peppers around the 37-yard line. Only a 37-yard punt. Michigan's offense on the field for the 3rd time. When we come back, we are scoreless late in the 1st quarter here in Ann Arbor.
Indiana defensive coordinator Tom Allen is trying to make John O'Korn's life difficult, bringing a number of pressures, forcing him to throw off his back foot, and then closing quickly with the quarterback sweep. Done a great job early on identifying what Michigan's trying to do offensively. Big reason why Michigan, traditionally a team that starts fast, has been held scoreless to this point.
Indiana's already got 3 tackles for a loss. They've averaged 11 tackles for a loss per game over the last 4. Davion Smith straight ahead on 1st and 10 to the 41-yard line, picking up 4. Patrick Doherty on the stop. Tom Allen has made a huge difference in his last 2 stops. South Florida last year, and then Indiana this year, the most improved defense statistically in college football.
And Kevin Wilson called him. They said, we didn't even talk about X's and O's, no scheme conversation. But what Tom Allen said to Kevin Wilson, he says, look, I coach from the heart to the heart, and this Indiana defense has played inspired football this year as a result.
Michigan going to keep it on the ground here. Smith tackled short of the line to gain. Again, it's Doherty on the stop. Bring up 3rd down.
Watching this Indiana defense last year. Watch this game, actually. A game that went down to the wire against the Michigan Wolverines. Double overtime. 48-41. Watching the difference this year. How hard they fly around. There's seldom a guy left uncovered. Done a really nice job in the front and adjusting the scheme to best fit their personnel.
Michigan will hold off on running a 3rd down play till the 2nd quarter. Last week's game against Iowa was a low-scoring affair. Are we headed for another one today between Michigan and Indiana? No score after 1 at the Big House. Quite the atmosphere here. Probably not ideal to go shirtless, but
certainly not the outfit I would have chosen.
Last opportunity to cheer on the Michigan Wolverines here at home on senior day. In trouble, O'Korn, and he gets rid of the pass at the last second, but it's incomplete. Jonathan Crawford got pressure as Indiana is making life miserable for John O'Korn. They've been in the backfield as there was no intentional grounding there, said referee Jerry McGinn. Well, Indiana has not won in Ann Arbor since 1967. The last time they beat Michigan anywhere was in '87. That's also the last time they beat a top 10 team. Indiana was really good back then, by the way, in the late 80s. Anthony Thompson, running back. And if they could somehow win this game or win next week against Purdue, they will be bowl eligible for the 2nd straight year. Third punt for Kenny Allen. He's going to have the wind at his back here on this punt. And it takes another Michigan bounce. The Wolverines were close to keeping it from going into the end zone, and they mark it at the 1. So for the 2nd time in the first half, Indiana will start inside its 5-yard line. A 54-yard punt. Again, it's the ball, not the feet, and you can clearly see Michigan kept it from going into the end zone. And when we come back, we'll be joined by Les Miles here in the booth. He's back in Ann Arbor. No score, early 2nd quarter.
What if you?
Yeah, we'll talk about a segue. LSU lost, and you're here. First of all, we'll get to LSU in a second.
Did they lose?
They did lose. They lost 16-10. Ed just told us.
I can't hear you at all. You know that.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you at
read
all.
my lips.
Thank you.
When's the last time you were at Michigan?
Last time I was in Michigan, I was with a crowd of people that were part of Bo's funeral, and it was 10 years ago. And yeah, it was. That was the last time. Saw a lot of great friends.
Here's Lego to throw from his own end zone. He's got a man wide open to the 23-yard line. It's Nick Westbrook for a first down.
Coach, obviously, you've had a couple months now to look at what you did and what you've changed. What have you learned in the last couple months?
Well, obviously, you can see that there's a variety of offenses and a variety of defenses that are being employed in college football and having success. And you know, what you do is you take the talent that you have and you fit it to that system that makes it most productive.
Right.
And I think you're seeing young quarterbacks being played right here today. I think if you have a veteran quarterback, a guy with real athleticism, I think gun run and spread and throw the ball is just what you do. If you watch the Houston Louisville game,
sure,
what a different makeup that was in terms of explosive plays.
Run there for Redding of about 8 yards, going to bring up 3rd down and short. What has this been like for you, Les, watching LSU week in, week out with their up and down season so far?
Well, I hired every one of those guys in that building. I recruited those players, the 100,000 that come in that stadium. I am loyal to. It's hard for me to see them not have success, but I think that they've done a really pretty good job. I think that you can look forward to them playing better as the season unfolds.
4th down here, incomplete pass. As you look back, do you wish that LSU would have made the decision at the end of last year so that you would have had an off season to then try to get right back into head coaching? Should the timing have been better by LSU and how they handled everything, Coach?
You know what? I'm not going to argue about the timing. You know, basically, I had a great run there. I enjoyed the people that I coached, and LSU's been wonderful to me. Now there's a big play for a Michigan team.
Yep, get a block punt there. They deflected it. They'll take over inside the Indiana 45-yard line.
Though that could be the spark they needed to get things going offensively, Coach.
That's a 40-yard change in possession. I mean, that ball could be down on the 20-yard line, you know, with a long drive. Now they get the short field. And short field's fun for a quarterback.
Yeah, you better believe it. Coach, what's next for you? What do you anticipate is the next step?
I have a lot of energy, have mountains to climb, want to see the next challenge. I really can't wait.
Michigan will hand it off here on 1st and 10, and not much running room that time for Chris Evans. So you say you have a lot of energy. You're looking forward to that next step. Is that next step as a head coach next year?
Well, I would have to see if there's if there's a match out there for me in a quality institution. At this point, I can't tell you. So my want is to be a football coach. I enjoy being with young men. I enjoy pointing to the field. I enjoy playing for victory.
Can't tell us or won't tell us, huh? Okay.
Maybe both.
Play fake here. And a catch made at the 40-yard line by Khalid Hill. 3rd down coming up.
Coach, there's been some speculation and conversation about guys you might bring with you when you do get that next opportunity, whether it's next year, the following year, whatever year it may be. What conversations have you had with other coaches around the industry, and when it comes to putting together a staff whenever you do get that next chance?
Yeah, I've had good fortune to visit with a number of guys that are coordinators in major college football and would like to entertain a great opportunity. So I've enjoyed those guys.
On 3rd down and 6, the pass is caught, but they're going to be short of the first down. It's going to be 4th down. How important do you think it was, and as somebody who played at Michigan and coached at Michigan, for them to go out and hire not just someone of the caliber of Jim Harbaugh, but somebody who knows the environment, who played at Michigan as a Michigan man?
It was imperative. It galvanized the group. It takes a guy like Dan Dierdorf. It takes a John Jansen. It brings an entire group of loyal Michigan players back, and he's doing a great job.
Michigan will go for it again on 4th down and short. They have to get to the 34-yard line. Davion Smith picks up the first down, gets rid of the defender inside the 20-yard line. Finally run out of bounds at the 11.
That's a play you recognize, Coach. Why don't you break it down for us here? As you can see, with a little down and around.
Yeah, going off left tackle. But the key is when you leave one for the back and the back can run over him, that's a great job by a great back.
On senior day, one of 43 players for Jim Harbaugh, 4th and 5th year seniors on senior day. The next game, obviously, in Columbus for Michigan next week on ABC. First down at the 11-yard line for the Wolverines. And they keep it on the ground. Ty Isaac wrapped up after a short gain by Greg Gooch. 2nd down.
I've been pretty impressed, Coach, with Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator for Indiana. He was at Ole Miss for a couple years as a linebacker coach. What have you seen from his defense today that gives you optimism for Indiana moving forward defensively?
Well, you see a variety of calls. You see they come from the boundary, come from the field, they bring it inside, and they're getting a great, come off with their front 4.
Isaac again, no running room. He'll lose a yard. Nate Hoff made the tackle. So 3rd and long, Coach. You're inside the 10. What's going through the mind of Jim Harbaugh here? What are some of the options you'd be thinking about?
He's going to really think about what his quarterback is capable of doing, period. And he's looking at, well, he has a menu of plays that he's comfortable with, but where's his football team and where's that coach? Where's that quarterback? So at that point, that's where the decision is, and that's where this call will be. What is the capability of our offense in this spot?
Offense, so they got to be thinking at least field goal here. Be careful.
And they got Jabril Peppers in the game at running back here, and they're going to pitch it to Peppers, who's looking to throw it, and he's pushed out of bounds. Indiana was not fooled. Now, we've seen Peppers at just about every position and do just about everything this year but throw the football. He was going to pass it that time. Instead, it's 4th down, and here comes the field goal team.
Very creative play call and a great job defensively by Indiana. Did not take the bait. Played man coverage and stuck with their wide receiver. Well executed.
You also have to wonder, Greg, does that call right there show a lack of confidence in O'Korn by Harbaugh? Here's the field goal try, and it's good for Kenny Allen from 28 yards.
Jim Harbaugh tried to dial up a tricky one. Didn't love it. Still get 3. Michigan, so far this year in the 2nd quarter, has really widened the gap on their opponents. And that's really a testament to their coaching staff. In the 1st quarter, they have a huge advantage. But this 162-18 is remarkable. It tells me that they're getting the opponent's best shot in the 1st quarter. They're adjusting. And then they are absolutely dominating the 2nd quarter of play, already having scored 3 here today against Indiana.
And again, if Michigan wins today and beats Ohio State next week, the Wolverines will be in the Big Ten championship game. Their last Big Ten championship was 2004. The last national championship was 1997. Wolverines number 3 in the college football playoff rankings. They lead 3-0. And this kickoff gets help from the wind and almost goes into the stands as we look. Lego's pass knocked down, incomplete by Thomas.
Guys, they've got to start making some of those throws and getting some big chunks of yardage. The biggest opponent for Indiana so far today has been field position. They've had so much real estate in front of them that Michigan has been comfortable with whatever they call. They don't feel like they're a disadvantage, and they're pinning their ears back and coming after this Indiana group. They have got to flip field position to have a chance in this game.
Average starting field position, their 11-yard line. Lego to throw again, and underneath to Westbrook to about the 33-yard line for an 8-yard pickup. 3rd and short for the junior quarterback, Richard Lego.
Longest pass attempt has only been 6 or 7 yards by either team. Nobody really attempting to stretch the field, Tom, in large part due to the wind and the way it keeps changing directions.
Yeah, and right now that wind is going directly into the face of this Indiana offense, which helped obviously that field goal unit for Michigan. So very difficult. Now you're going to see Diamond come in the Wildcat.
Yeah, Xander Diamant is the backup quarterback. We've seen them run Wildcat with a couple of other guys. Now it's Diamant's turn, and he will keep it and has running room. 1st down and more. Knocked down at the 42. Let's go. Meanwhile, 3-0 midway through the 2nd quarter here at the Big House. Indiana gets a 1st down. And now it's Nate getting the direct snap, and at 270 pounds, he stretches forward for about a yard. Grabbed at the ankles by Mike McCray, who had a big penalty last week. Called for a face mask on the punt by Michigan that gave Iowa good starting field position. Hawkeyes eventually kicked 31-yard field goal to win the game. Here's Divine Redding off the right edge on 2nd and 14, able to move the pile close to the 1st down marker. See where they spot the ball here. It's going to be a 1st down. And Indiana's in Michigan territory for the first time today. They've had good running backs here. Jordan Howard last year, Tevin Coleman 2 years ago. Redding rushed for over 1,000 yards last year. Close to 1,000 this year. Lego looking deep here. Defender falls down, and Luke Timian is wide open inside the 20-yard line.
Tempo, tempo, tempo. It gets you completely out of sorts defensively. The defender clearly, Hill falling down, leaving Timian wide open. The easiest deep completion Lego will have all day.
32-yard pass play. Back to the ground in Redding to the 15-yard line. Matthew Godin on the stop, a pickup of 2 yards for Redding.
This is where Indiana has struggled this year. Their offense puts up so many yards. Great production. But when they get in the red zone, they've been remarkably inconsistent.
And they're going up against the best red zone defense in college football. On 2nd and 8, Redding trying the left side. And he gets maybe a half yard, pounded into the dirt that time by Gideon and Godin. They get the best red zone defense against the worst red zone offense, but I think Indiana would be okay with 3 points.
See that number for Indiana. Only touchdowns on 47%. Michigan, of course. Like I said earlier, you score against the Wolverines in the red zone, keep the football. It doesn't happen very often.
9th play of the drive for the Hoosiers on 3rd and 7 from the 15-yard line. Lego to the air, zips that one in there, complete for a 1st down to Ricky Jones. The ball comes out, but they ruled Jones dead. Thomas took it away. They ruled, though, that forward progress was stopped. That looked like a good call at the 6-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for Indiana.
Stopped.
They're confirming that forward progress was stopped. I think that's a good call. I know the fans here in the Big House are booing, but clearly he had been stopped for long enough to blow it dead.
They're going to put Diamant in the game here and run the Wildcat with him. Nate is back there also with Patrick. We've seen this several times, several different players getting a direct snap. Diamant's actually the backup quarterback. Started a bunch of games a couple years ago. They hand it off here. Patrick down to the 2. It was snapped to Nate that time. They've showed us everything here. They had the quarterback back there, but they snapped it to the running back.
It's such a difficult offense to set up for. You don't know who's going to get it. You have a backup quarterback in Diamant that can throw the ball effectively. He can even catch it too.
Here's Patrick into the end zone for the touchdown. Camion Patrick, who had 3 catches all season until last week when he had 3 catches against Penn State, gets a rushing touchdown here to give the Hoosiers the lead on the road. You saw Diamant, the quarterback, run out way wide to the right. 11-play, 75-yard drive. So we set up how bad Indiana had been in the red zone offensively, how good Michigan had been defensively in the red zone, but it's the Hoosiers who get a touchdown and take the lead. Michigan trails at half for the first time this season, coming off a loss to Iowa, trailing 7-3, and Indiana will get the ball to start the second half. Stay tuned for an interview with Tom Luginbill and Indiana head coach Kevin Wilson. The Hoosiers lead Michigan at the half, 7-3. Now back to the studio in Adnan.
Well, Coach, you're at a disadvantage there field position-wise, offensively the entire first half. What kind of plays can you produce to try and gain that advantage back here in the second half?
Well, it's a credit to the defense. They got us on the one-punt block, but we were uphill. We're trying to be smart. We're trying to do everything we can to just keep playing these guys and go the distance. So we weathered that storm. There's a lot more ball to play. Fortunately, made one drive, had one good drive, a couple plays, got a touch. Our defense has played their butts off, though.
Yeah, I was going to say defensively, you guys have done a great job. From a field position standpoint, how would you assess how they've been able to handle things?
Very well. I mean, they've been on the short end all day, whether it be the wind, the kicking, our inability early. They had a drive going. We didn't do anything, got pinned back. Again, our defense was bad. Inside the punt block, they give up the one. They held them to a field goal, which was awesome. They had a 1st and goal. We had one good drive. It's a good ball game. It's Big Ten football in November.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
7-3 Indiana over Michigan. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. Back with Greg McElroy. I'm Dave Pasch. Tom Luginbill will rejoin us in a bit. But last week, Greg, against Iowa, Michigan had just over 200 yards of total offense and 13 points. In the first half, just over 100 yards and 3 points. So if you're the Wolverines, what went wrong, and is it fixable with a backup quarterback?
It is, but they can't continue to have so many negative plays. John O'Korn has not had much of a chance to get into a rhythm. You can see on the run play, tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Nobody open, have to escape forward. Khalid Hill gets beat. Once again, nobody open, having to try to escape. Tackle for a loss, sacks. You see big plays, and then you see Michigan lose yardage on the next play. So last week against Iowa, inconsistent at the line of scrimmage and throwing the football. It's carried over against a defense that is feeling very confident in their plan and scheme.
Indiana last week held Penn State to 77 yards rushing, held Michigan to 64 yards in the first half. And again, the Wolverines control their own destiny to the Big Ten championship game. Win this week, win in Columbus against Ohio State, and they'll be in the Big Ten title game. And of course, hoping for a national championship as well. This will be a touchback. Let's check in with Tom Luginbill.
Well, it's very clear, guys, that Coach Jim Harbaugh knows exactly what they've got to do offensively. Receivers have got to get open, manage early downs so the quarterback's not behind the chains on 3rd downs. Defensively, there seemed to be more of a concern. Defensively, he does not want that ball getting out on the perimeter. That is critical. He wants that run to stay inside, stop the run, force them to throw, because they don't believe they'll give up big plays against this Indiana offense, which are able to limit certainly in the first half.
Tom, Indiana had 141 yards of offense. Now, they were backed up a lot. Michigan dominated field position, yet it's the Hoosiers who lead and start on offense. And Divine Redding trying to get outside, but can't. Ryan Glasgow made a great play at the point of attack. It's another negative play on 1st down for Indiana.
Indiana found some success running to the right side of the field behind their All-American right tackle. Clearly, Michigan made that a point of emphasis starting out in the second half.
Off play action, Lego taking a shot, and it is almost intercepted. Ricky Jones knocked it away from Jordan Lewis, the all Big Ten corner. Hard to throw at him and have success.
Perfect coverage. Arm extended. That is outstanding technique from the defender. See a little tug, but that will not be called because the official can't see it because it's below his eye line. Well,
Lego off play action, taking another shot, underthrown again, and incomplete. Tried to hit Westbrook. He's throwing into the wind there, dribbling in coverage. It's the first 3 and out for Indiana in the ball game.
He just can't control the ball, Greg. I mean, can't get it off his hand, and then once he does, no matter how much power he's got behind it, that ball just hangs in the air.
And it's changing directions, which makes it very difficult on a quarterback. One series it's going one way, the next it's going a different. Tough to get a bead on the direction.
Peppers races forward and fields it on the run, breaks a tackle, and Peppers to the 41 of Indiana. Michigan blocked a punt in the first half, but they set up the return there. It was a low liner that Peppers wisely came forward to play and return it to the 41 of Indiana. O'Korn's numbers in the first half, just 5 of 10 passing.
He's got to be better, but this is about the offensive line. Those guys were challenged in the locker room at halftime. They got to be consistent in pass protection and establish the line of scrimmage.
Davion Smith, 6 carries, 47 yards. He's the tailback here. It'll be Smith on first down. To the 38-yard line, picking up 3. Rashard Fant on the stop for the Hoosiers.
An attitude play to start the second half. Just a little power with a lead. When you think Michigan football, you think power, you think toughness. Trying to get it established here in the first opportunity in the second half.
See if they keep it on the ground here on 2nd and 7. They will with Smith. Finds a seam. First down and more. Gain of 14 yards inside the 25-yard line.
Down, down, and around. Power football. Bread and butter of what Jim Harbaugh has always done offensively. Doesn't matter where he's at. Whether it's San Diego or Stanford, San Francisco 49ers, that's his favorite play. They get a big one there.
Karan Higdon now is the back. They'll pitch it to Higdon. And he's in trouble. Down he goes, back at the 19. Patrick Doherty got penetration for the Hoosiers. A loss of close to 5 on the play.
Rashard Fant did a great job from the corner position, bringing heat off the edge and forcing the running back to stop his momentum. This has been the story for Michigan all along. They get a first down and then they make a mistake. And now you're looking at 2nd and 15 when the yards are critical here in the red zone.
Will O'Korn throw it for the first time here in the third? 10 passes in the first half. He'll go to the air here, flushed out of the pocket, rolling around, has a man open, but he short-armed it. It one-hops to J.U. Chesson, who had no white jersey anywhere near him. That was a tough throw with him backing up and Sykes in the backfield. It's 3rd down.
Just couldn't get enough strength on the football. Rolling around, trying to avoid a hit. Harbaugh not happy. O'Korn's got to keep his poise there when he's under duress. Try to get his feet set as quick as possible and attempt to deliver it accurately.
3rd and 15 now. And they're going to run the ball with Evans. And he's tackled at the 15-yard line. Does that tell you right now that Jim Harbaugh does not trust John O'Korn?
It does. He doesn't trust him to make a good decision with the football. The play before, he escaped the pocket a little bit early. There was pressure, no doubt about it. But clearly O'Korn is not comfortable right now. He hasn't started the game since 2014. Clearly there's some rust when it comes to the way he's playing.
Well, the snap was a little high, but Morris did a good job to get it down. And Allen puts it through, but Indiana still leads 7-6.
Team is struggling today, though. A lot of mistakes. Poor execution at the line of scrimmage. Poor execution by the quarterback position. Just haven't had much rhythm offensively. And Indiana deserves a ton of credit for the way they're playing on the defensive side of the football.
Indiana's been close before this year. Can they come through and beat a ranked team on the road? Touchback, it'll come out to the 25. Lego dropping back, gonna air it out, going to Westbrook. He caught it in Michigan territory. Now they're saying, yeah, he did catch it at the 35-yard line with Stribling draped all over Westbrook. 37 yards. What a grab.
What a great effort. Oh, at the end.
Yeah, did it come out?
The nose of the football might have hit the ground.
Indiana should snap it quickly. Instead, they're at the 35 of Michigan. Redding, nothing. That's Chris Wormley, captain for this Michigan team, playing his last game at the Big House, one of 43 seniors on this Michigan roster.
He just destroyed the offensive line. What a play.
Lego gonna throw it to the sideline. The pass on target. Is the receiver inbounds? Yes! Mitchell Page makes the catch at the 22 with Delano Hill defending. 13-yard pickup.
Right on the boundary. Foot is in bounds. It appears as though he controls the ball all the way through. Good catch by Page.
Michigan trying to go up tempo here. Or Indiana rather trying to go up tempo at the Michigan 22. Yeah, Kevin Wilson on the field that time. He wanted to check out of it. He was almost where the official was.
He's getting them lined up.
Out of the pistol. And the ball's on the ground. It's picked up by Lego. And then it's incomplete.
I think that was a mistake there, guys, for Indiana to slow down the tempo. If you remember, the only other drive they scored points today was when they got a big pass play like they just did, and then they got tempo and they went right down and they scored a touchdown. They had Michigan on their heels there. Slowing that down did not help Indiana.
Lego on 2nd and 10 off play action, a pump fake, throwing downfield, and making the play is Mitchell Page adjusting in the air. It's 1st and goal for the Hoosiers.
Mitchell Page is fired up. Went with a little fake screen, tried to run Page up the boundary. He had his man beat. Underthrown, good adjustment by the wide receiver. In this part of the field, they don't get in. You might see some wildcat.
Redding makes it to the 5-yard line, picking up a couple. Then Gideon on the tackle. It'll be 2nd and goal. And when we've seen them down here before, they've gone wildcat. They brought in Xander Diamont, the backup quarterback. They put him, Patrick, Tyler Natey in the backfield. Here they're going with their traditional set. And Lego at Q on 2nd and goal in the 9th play of the drive. And it's Lego keeping it, and Michigan not fooled as Peppers picks up the quarterback. The ball's fumbled. It's still loose, and they're going to rule that Lego is down back at the 11-yard line. Excuse me, at the 6-yard line, rather. Forward progress back to the 6-yard line before he's picked up by Peppers, and they blew it dead.
Lego, as he's on his way to the ground, appears as though his left knee does hit before the ball is jarred loose. I understand, if you're going to do a zone read, why not do so with your wildcat personnel as opposed to a less agile Lego in the red zone?
And now it's 3rd down and goal. They're going to hand it off, and Redding is stacked up for no gain. Boy, as creative as they were when they scored their touchdown in the first half, that was a 180 right there.
I don't understand it. They run their offense. They did zone reads and all the things that they do with their wildcat personnel, but they did so with Richard Lego, who's a good athlete, but nowhere near the athlete of Natey, who's a running back, Patrick, who's a wide receiver / running back, and Xander Diamont, who's a dual threat wildcat quarterback.
And it has not been an easy year for Griffin Oaks. He puts that one through, though. He's now 13 of 22 on the season. Indiana extends its lead to 4. Missed opportunity, though, for Indiana. 1st and goal on the 6. They have to settle for 3 points. Here's Peppers on the return for Michigan. Slam to the turf at the 34. Indiana trying to get bowl eligible as well as knock off a top 10 team, and they have never beaten a top 5 team on the road. 0-36 all time. O'Korn has his pass knocked away as Jake Butt couldn't pull it in. Crawford came over at the last second. It's been a quiet day for Butt, but obviously when the quarterback's struggling, he's not going to have numbers either.
Yeah, that was the first opportunity he's had to bail out his quarterback. He's got to come up with that. Obviously sliding to the ground, very difficult to catch, but Jake Butt's one of the best in the business. He's got to come up with that for O'Korn, who's trying to find some confidence.
Yeah, looking at the replay there, you're right. Crawford did not touch it. It was just a drop. Michigan tries to run the ball here as Isaac is stood up at the 36 after a gain of 2. This will put Michigan in 3rd and 8. Tom Allen, the first-year defensive coordinator for Indiana. And if you're Michigan now, how do you handle this? I don't know if you've lost confidence in O'Korn or what, but do you sling it here on 3rd and long?
One of their best plays of the day was the first pass attempt. And that was a screen. I think they need to get the screen game involved because their offensive line has had a tough time blocking this Indiana defense consistently.
Only 1 3rd down conversion today for Michigan. This is 3rd and 8. Play action pass. O'Korn in trouble. Steps up. Gonna tuck it. Get the 1st down and more. O'Korn inside the 40. All the way to the 34 and is fired up. It's a 30-yard run.
It's a great play. 2 unblocked defenders coming at him. He threads the needle by stepping up and makes a play with his legs. Now his arm has been inconsistent today. Been a little bit all over the map, out of rhythm. Fortunately for him, he's a great athlete.
Davion Smith breaking tackles inside the 10-yard line. Smith dives. He's in. Touchdown, Michigan.
Checking to make sure that Smith did in fact cross the plane. Very clear that he is in the end zone.
From the pylon cam, camera's about to go down. The Wolverines retake the lead. The point after makes it 13-10.
This Michigan team needed a spark offensively.
Smith is over 100 yards. He gets his 9th touchdown of the season. One guy took his shirt off, said, you know what, it's pretty darn cold. I'm going to start putting it back on. The other guy still has it off. He's had it off since kickoff. And Michigan kicking with a wind. It'll be a touchback.
Quarterback's such a mental position. Confidence is the most important attribute. That play should provide some for John O'Korn.
Ricky Brookins on 1st down. Drives through the defender, Ben Gideon, out to the 32-yard line, picking up 7 yards on 1st and 10 for Indiana. See how the Hoosiers now respond. They led 7-3 at the half, extended it to 10-6 with a field goal in their last possession. Michigan now leads, late 3rd quarter. Again, the Wolverines control their own destiny to the Big Ten championship game. Taco Charlton there defensively, along with Wormley spinning down Brookins for no gain. And a huge 3rd down here for Indiana to try to get some momentum back.
Great play by Wormley. This defense gave up a couple deep shots on the last drive. Indiana might be thinking about taking another chance down the field here against tight coverage.
3rd and 3 for Indiana. Lego throws, dropped at the 40-yard line. Donovan Hale couldn't hang on. It would have been a 1st down. Instead, Indiana's punting.
Preparing for this game. This is the best secondary play I've seen from a team this year. Every throw is contested. You have to be so deadly accurate with the football. If it's just a little off target, these outstanding defensive backs are going to knock it down.
This is a liner. Peppers muffs the punt, but it goes out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Michigan will start in Indiana territory, though. Play fake for O'Korn. Setting up. Throwing it deep. Going for Darbo. Incomplete.
I love the decision by Jim Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Jed Fish. You have a lot of momentum. You have great field position. You have the wind at your back, and you'll only have that for the next 37 seconds of gameplay. Take a shot. See if you can't get a big touchdown to ignite this crowd.
O'Korn still looking for his first completion of the third quarter, but they're going to run Davion Smith, and Smith has a ton of room inside the 20. Smith inside the 10. Smith to the house. Touchdown, Michigan. Davion Smith has taken over in the third quarter. He now has 143 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in his final game at the Big House, his 10th rushing TD of the season. 20-10 Wolverines.
Davion Smith said, "You want offense? I'll give you offense." Went with a little counter play, a couple pullers around, and nothing but green grass out in front of Smith. And once again, breaking a tackle in the secondary, tiptoeing his way into the end zone. Just outstanding execution and a great cut by Davion Smith there to spring himself free.
Michigan had 110 yards of offense in the first half. Davion Smith almost has that by himself in the second half.
They clearly at halftime made a commitment to running the football, challenged the offensive line. They were winning more often than not in the run game in the first half, but they had too many negative plays. Now they're putting great plays together consecutively, and it's resulted in a couple big touchdowns.
Another touchback. Indiana will start in the 25. Now Indiana has to come back from 10 down against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in college football. Devine Redding picks up a couple. Indiana will have the wind at its back in the fourth quarter. But they got to score 10 points. And you go back to, again, their missed opportunity. First and goal from the 6-yard line, where they used their Wildcat package in the first half. They didn't, and settled for a field goal here in the third quarter. And then back-to-back rushing touchdowns by Michigan's Davion Smith. John O'Korn providing a spark, though, with that long run setting up the Smith touchdown. Michigan by 10 as we go to the fourth at the Big House. Well, Michigan's defense was stout in that third quarter, holding Indiana to 20 rushing yards. The special teams have been outstanding all day for the Wolverines, and the high-flying Davion Smith, a career best 143 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns in that third quarter. And the Wolverines have opened up a 10-point lead as they try to improve to 10-1 with a date in Columbus set for next week. Lego, hoping the Hoosiers aren't done, puts one on target to Ricky Jones. A first down to the 40 in a 13-yard gain.
Great throw by Lego. Just a slant, great win by Ricky Jones, too, against Michigan's best corner in Jordan Lewis.
Lego looking downfield, now goes to the sideline, off the hand of Mitchell Page with safety Delano Hill in coverage. 2nd and 10.
That's what you see every single time you put on the tape and watch this Michigan defense. every throw has to be perfect. I mean, defenders and secondary players are draped over the wide receivers. They are so good in the back end and make it so hard on quarterbacks.
Lego moves to his left, and the pass low. Page caught it, though. They rule a catch at the 49. Devontae Thomas in coverage. The ball came out, but it was after Page had possession and was down. At least that was the ruling on the field. You take a look. There he's got it.
Clearly down, secured the catch, and lets it get ripped out at the end.
They have their Wildcat package out there with Xander Diamont in at quarterback, in the backfield with Nate. And Diamont kept it that time and shouldn't have. Jabril Peppers makes him pay. He pulled it back from Camion Patrick. It looked like he had running room, and he loses a yard. Boy, Peppers is good. This could be his final game here at the Big House. Third-year player, missed most of his freshman season due to injury. And the way teams are using guys his size in the NFL. Into traffic. It is nearly picked off and then nearly caught by Patrick. But just to finish up on Peppers, I mean, he's a linebacker at 200 pounds, but you look at guys like Dale Buchanan, Mark Barron, college safeties that are playing inside linebacker in the NFL at his size. Obviously, Mel Kiper likes him. He's got him in his top 3.
The ability to cover as a linebacker or safety has never been more important. Think Tyrann Mathieu. Plays in the box, nickel, but an impact player. That's exactly what Peppers is.
Lego hammered in the backfield, and down he goes. Taco Charlton takes him down. There are a couple other Wolverines back there initially. Indiana will have to punt the ball. Be fourth at about 18.
Great play defensively. Just bringing some pressure. That is what Michigan does defensively under their coordinator, Don Brown. When it's a passing situation, they're coming after it.
Flat. Gideon gets it away as, again, there was a Michigan player back there. It works out well. It goes out of bounds inside the 10. You had McCray, who he was just trying to get back there, and the punter ran almost right into him. Michigan's defense tops statistically in the country, looking like a #1 defense again today. Davion Smith had almost 100 rushing yards in the third quarter as Michigan leads Indiana by 10, trying to keep pace with Ohio State. A showdown in Columbus on ABC next week. Penn State plays tonight against Rutgers, home next week to Michigan State. Wolverines control their own destiny. Win today, and next week they're in the Big Ten championship game. Win that, they're in the college football playoff. Smith on first down gets a couple as Colorado 10th at Nan in the latest college football playoff rankings.
A lot of people looked at that game that Michigan played against Colorado in the third week of the season and said, what's wrong with Michigan? I think they beat a pretty good football team by 17 points, something to take into account.
O'Korn rolling out here, looking to throw. And instead of throwing it away, he keeps it, but he gets drilled out of bounds. What are you thinking if you're Jonathan Crawford for Indiana? You had O'Korn out of bounds, and now you just give him a first down because of a late hit.
Add to the play. Personal foul. Defense, number 9, late hit. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
That's so blatantly obvious. There's no room for that. That's 15 yards every single time. And a fresh set of downs for Michigan.
Think about it, Greg. You had the clock stopped in 3rd and long. Now it's 1st and 10 with the ball at the 25.
Inexcusable mistake by Jonathan Crawford.
And the clock starts in the ready for play. Trying to run out the clock here. Chris Evans gets maybe a yard on first down. Davion Smith, his third 100-yard game of the season, a $150 tonight on Senior Day.
Big plays by him, but a lot of credit is deserved for the right side of his offensive line. Mason Cole, the center. Kalis, right guard. Magnuson, Big Magnuson, the right tackle. They have set the tone in the second half by running power football and trusting that they'd win in the trenches.
Michigan's going to have to burn a timeout here unless they hurry up. They had the wrong personnel out there. Now they have it set with Peppers as the Wildcat quarterback, and they do snap it in time. Peppers past the 25, ripped down after a gain of 2 by Marcus Oliver, who missed the tackle, by the way, on that long John O'Korn run. Now it's 3rd and long. So do you let O'Korn throw the ball here, Greg, or because you have a 10-point lead, do you run it, take time off the clock, and kick it?
Your most successful plays today have been on the ground. I'd run the football. I'd continue giving it to my running back and allow the offensive line to make a play, but they
go empty
in an empty set.
And then they shift back to a run formation. Karan Higdon. They snap it with 1 on the play clock, and he will throw it. O'Korn backing up, finds a receiver. It's Darboh, makes the defender miss, and has a 1st down. That's a killer right there. Amara Darboh, who've been quiet today, with a big play to move the sticks.
Darboh been targeted 4 times, yet to reel in a catch. His first one comes at a critical time, and a great job by John O'Korn retreating, allowing his receiver to get across the field and connecting on a big 3rd down conversion.
Higdon gets a yard. So if Michigan hangs on, again, we've not been told by Jim Harbaugh or anybody in Michigan the status of Wilton Speight, other than, as Harbaugh told us yesterday, he's moved from day to day to hour, and we saw Speight warming up in this game pregame, but favoring that left shoulder, but it's not in a sling. So if O'Korn has to go next week, how comfortable are you with him trying to win that ball game?
He doesn't have to necessarily win it. He just can't lose it. You have a great defense. The offensive line is very good. Your running backs are outstanding. You have 2 great wide receivers, great tight end.
Smith powers close to the marker and appears to have the 1st down.
He just has to know his role within the offense.
And you know what, Greg? He's now got this game out of the way. Now, you can say all you want, but when he came into this matchup, you got a quarterback that probably was a little unsure of what he was capable of, how he would perform. Things didn't start out well. You make the big play on the scramble, changes the momentum of the game, and now you've got a better feel for yourself and for your offense, and your teammates do too, going on the road next week.
You can answer the question to yourself, saying, look, when we're down, I can make a play that my team needs in order to propel us forward in a positive way. That helps a lot mentally going into a huge game against your arch rival.
Davion Smith picks up about 3 yards. The clock continues to run. Here's the other thing. Michigan's defense is so good, and Ohio State's offense has been incredibly inconsistent. We had them against Northwestern, where they had to come in the last 4th quarter, had to come back and win that ball game, a close game, and then they score 60 points in consecutive weeks and then struggled today. Now, granted, it's at Michigan State. The Spartans were playing that like they were playing their bowl game, but it was not a great showing offensively by the Buckeyes today. But it's really a work in progress. They're a young group up front going up against a veteran defense for Michigan next week. Evans short of the line to gain. 3rd down coming up.
And both defenses are outstanding, though. Personnel-wise, talent. You look at the starting 11 defensively for Michigan and the starting 11 defensively for Ohio State.
It's turned into a blizzard here as Michigan powers Davion Smith straight ahead, close to the 1st down at the 40. Indiana can stop it one more time. Boy, the snow, it stopped. It looked like we were going to have a clear evening, and then all of a sudden now it's snowing more than ever, and it's sticking on the field. Michigan going for it on 4th down and a yard. Here's Davion Smith. He gets the 1st down. Indiana cannot stop the clock. Michigan behind Davion Smith going to win this football game. Smith terrific in the 3rd quarter. Only fitting on senior day, his last game here at the Big House. He gets the carry there on 4th down to move the chains, and for all intents and purposes give Michigan its 10th win.
And you know what, Dave, when you consider what we talked about coming on air with John O'Korn, all right, don't force the ball, avoid negative plays, value field position. You've got to argue that he hit on 2 out of those 3, and in the second half, hit on all 3 of them.
Smith tackled in the backfield, but again, the clock will run. Well, you mentioned, both of you guys pointed out that when he had that 30-yard run, it seemed like it not only helped O'Korn's confidence, but the confidence that his teammates had in him, because Michigan was a different team after that play. Can that carry over to next week should O'Korn get the call against the Buckeyes?
Such a momentum game. And obviously last week against Iowa, such a difficult game, such a disappointing outcome. Got off to a slow start, but that was the play, the 30-yard scramble that ignited this fan base in the stands. And really, you've seen this team play significantly better since that play.
They're on the Michigan, or on the Indiana 39-yard line, at least we think, with snow covering the entire field now. It's 3rd down and 13. And again, Indiana out of timeouts. Michigan is going to win 10 games in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 2002-2003. You think about what Jim Harbaugh has done at every stop. After a lengthy NFL career, he got into coaching late at San Diego. He turned that program around, went to Stanford, turned that program around in 4 years. They won an Orange Bowl. Goes to the 49ers, 3 NFC title games and a Super Bowl appearance. And then 2 years here at Michigan, and they are on the cusp of a potential college football playoff spot should they win next week and then win the Big Ten championship.
He's been outstanding, and he has put these players, these 43 seniors in particular, through 4-hour practices. I mean, he has challenged them every step of the way. He knows exactly what his players need to get to the next level.
They run Davion Smith on 4th down, and time will stop here on the change of possession. So Indiana's offense will get back on the field here with 53 seconds left.
Tom, I saw those snow angels being made by the cheerleading squad. I think you ought to give it a whirl. What do you think? Snow angel, Tom? Move your legs, Tom.
You dove on a football in a hurricane, so that still is not the most outstanding thing you've done this year.
I love it.
It was good.
The SID here in Michigan just came over and said, hey, we want you to get John O'Korn after the game about the 35-yard line. I said, where's that?
Lego on 1st down with 50 seconds left. Incomplete. Tried to hit Ricky Jones. 48 seconds remaining. So Michigan, assuming nothing miraculous happens here, will improve to 7-1, tied with Ohio State, with the meeting next week. So one of those teams is going to be 8-1. Penn State wins its final 2 games. The Nittany Lions will be 8-1. It'll come down then to the head-to-head tiebreakers. That pass broken up, intended for Westbrook. And again, Michigan owns the tiebreaker with Penn State. Penn State owns the tiebreaker with Ohio State.
Don't be surprised if next week Michigan State goes into Happy Valley and gives them all they want and more. It's the final game of the season for the Spartans. Penn State has played really well of late. Got challenged last week, answered that challenge by an Indiana team, ended up winning by a couple touchdowns. Don't be surprised if Michigan State makes Nittany Lions fans very nervous over the course of the 3-hour game next week.
No, Penn State, a team that early in the year did not look very good at all. They were blown out here in Ann Arbor, but one of the most improved teams in college football over the course of a season, Penn State. And they've got a Rutgers team that's been miserable all year, and then a home game against the Spartans, who have 1 win. The ball's on the ground. Indiana recovers, and that will likely do it unless the Hoosiers decide to snap it one more time here. And Dan Feeney a little banged up. You don't want to see that. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the Big Ten. College football scoreboard is up next. Clemson coming off a loss like Michigan was last week, trying to rebound on the road. The Tigers lost at home to Pitt. They play at Wake Forest tonight on ESPN. Michigan beats Indiana 20-10, the Wolverines get their 10th win of the season. It'll come down to Michigan and Ohio State, not only for a spot in the Big Ten championship game, depending, of course, on what Penn State does, but also a spot in the college football playoff. And we'll have it for you next week on ABC. Game day will be in Columbus starting at 7 a.m. Hoosiers put up a fight, but too much defense for Michigan, and Davion Smith in running back for the Wolverines. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill, I'm Dave Pasch. So long from Ann Arbor. Now back to the studio.